Hey golfers, in this next video I'll be talking about the secret to lag in the golf swing. Keep watching. Hi, it's Troy from hittingitsolid.com here. Thanks for watching. So we're talking about the secret to lag in the golf swing. Now lag is that wonderful thing that we all want in our golf swing, helps us generate more power and more consistency, and makes a huge difference in your golf game. And lag is that angle, if I got the club here, between that lead arm and that angle that goes up that shaft line there. So lag is really important to get that in the golf swing. But the problem is, if you're anything like me, you've been shown a different way of getting lag that I don't believe works very consistent for most golfers. It can work for the long drivers and some professional golfers, because these golfers have practiced it for years and they're obviously highly skilled. But for the rest of us, there is a much easier way to get lag. So let's go through it. All right, so I was shown how to get lag in the golf swing. If I'm set up to one here, for me, I was taught to try and get as wide as possible on my swing here. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And as soon as I make the downswing, I was taught to get my hands a lot closer and just have this shaft come down as steep and really maximize that lag angle to hopefully release it at impact. Now, as I said, this does work for some really highly skilled golfers, but for most handicap golfers, or you might just play once a week or once a month, it is very difficult, and I'll show you why. So from down the line, now you might get great external shoulder rotation, meaning you might be able to shallow the shaft down like this, but the problem is that won't work if you're trying to get a heap of lag and really maximize that angle. More often than not, that shaft will come down really steep. Even if you do manage to shallow it, the problem is, for most golfers, and I used to do this, you'd get to this position here and the face is still open, and the problem is, sooner or later you've got to get rid of that lag and you'll end up standing up and flipping at it to try and get any sort of decent contact with the ball. So you lose all of that lag that you had. Now there is, in my opinion, a much easier method of doing this that will work for any level golfer, whether you're a 10 handicap or a 27 handicap golfer, and it's a lot more efficient, help you hit the ball more solid and consistently, and I'm going to show you it right now. All right, a much easier way of getting lag in the golf swing is something I'm going to show you right now. So if I'm set up to one here, as I go to the top of my backswing, what I like to do is slightly release those wrists at the start of the downswing. Now, I know what you're saying, that'll be casting, but I'm going to add another piece into it with your wrist, particularly my lead wrist, that will help you create a great lag angle and get that power you're after. So I'm going to slightly release that wrist angle there, but at the same time as I do that, I'm going to bow it or flex my lead wrist like that. I'll show you from the other angle. Now, when I do that and I rotate, watch what happens. I've still maintained, I've got excellent lag there, I've got my hands to that rear thigh, the club's still parallel to the ground, and all I have to do is rotate. And I can get through to a great impact position. I can get forward shaft lean. This works for a driver exactly the same way. And the other huge benefit, you'll have a squarer club face. So that's all you need to do. As you start that downswing, release those hands a little bit, but bow that lead wrist or flex it, squares the club face. It gets you that, maintains you that lag angle. Then all you need to do is rotate through to a solid finish. Let's have a look at it from down the line. It also shallows out your golf club as well, so it has many great benefits. Let's go to the top. So we're going to release the hands a little bit, bow that lead wrist or flex it. You can see straight away there the club has shallowed out, and we're just going to rotate. Pre-impact position, we've got plenty of lag stored up, and then rotate through to the finish, through to the follow through. Really simple but super effective way of getting lag on the golf swing. So let's look at a great way you can practice this. All right, here's a great way to practice the secret to lag in the golf swing. So what I want you to do is grab a club, and we're just going to do slow rehearsals and gradually build up speed. So from face on, first of all, grab a club. We're going to get to the top. As we start our downswing, we're going to slightly release those hands, bow the wrist at the same time, rotate slowly, get into that pre-impact position, and then impact. So from down the line camera angle, as we go to the top, I'm going to release those hands slightly. I'm going to bow that at the same time, which will shallow the shaft, rotate, and rotate through to impact. Really simple but really powerful way to get that lag in the golf swing, and it ensures you don't do any of this really steep shaft in the downswing. You don't have to flip. You can stay in posture and hit the golf ball a lot more consistent. This works fantastically well. If there's one thing you get out of this video, make sure you apply that and you'll hit the ball 100 times better regardless of what your current handicap is. Now, super important, coming up I've got a video that talks about weight shift versus hip turn. This is really key in the golf swing as well, so make sure you watch this video. It's coming up. Do you want to know how to make an even better golf swing? Click and watch the video on your screen now. It's going to go into more detail about golf weight shift versus hip turn, which ties in really well with this video to help you make a great golf swing. Do you want to know how to play even better golf? Consider subscribing to the channel. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I will get back to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.